Stop scrolling, because this isn't just another love story. This is about two people who fell in love at the wrong time, for all the right reasons. And by the end, you'll question everything you believe about love. So before we begin, hit subscribe, because stories like this don't come twice. It started with a message that wasn't meant to be sent. Ethan had typed it out at 2:13 a.m., half asleep, half broken, staring at the glow of his phone in a quiet New York apartment that felt too big for one person. "I miss you more tonight than I did yesterday." He read it twice, sighed, and meant to delete it, but instead, his thumb slipped. Sent. But not to who he thought. Across the city, in a dimly lit studio apartment filled with unfinished canvases and the smell of turpentine, Maya Reyes heard her phone buzz. She ignored it at first, she always did, but something about the hour made her pick it up. She read the message once. Then again. "I miss you more tonight than I did yesterday." Her brows furrowed. Wrong number. Obviously. But something about the words, they didn't feel accidental. They felt heavy. Like someone had poured their soul into a line that was never supposed to reach her. She typed back before she could overthink it. "Wrong person. But, whoever that was for, they probably miss you too." She almost didn't send it. Almost. But she did. And that's where everything began. Ethan stared at the reply, confusion washing over him first, then embarrassment. Wrong number. Great. He ran a hand through his hair, considering ignoring it. But instead, he typed. "Yeah, definitely wasn't meant for you. Sorry about that." 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then came back again. "It's okay. Happens. But, you okay?" He paused. No one had asked him that in a long time. Not really. He leaned back against the couch, exhaling slowly. "No," he typed. "But I will be." Maya smiled faintly at the screen. "Good. That's all that matters." And just like that, a conversation that should have ended, didn't. Days turned into nights. Nights turned into routine. They never planned it, but somehow, 2 a.m. became their time. They talked about everything. Not the surface-level stuff people use to pass time, but the real things. The things people usually hide. Ethan told her about the relationship he lost. 5 years. Gone in a single conversation he never saw coming. Maya told him about her fear of being seen. Not physically, but emotionally. How she poured herself into art because it was safer than letting people in. They didn't know what each other looked like. Didn't exchange social media. Didn't even share last names. Just two strangers, connected by accident, staying by choice. 3 weeks in, something shifted. Ethan noticed it first. The way he smiled at his phone. The way her messages stayed in his mind long after the screen went dark. And then one night, without warning, Maya didn't reply. 2 a.m. passed. Then 3. Then morning. Nothing. Ethan told himself it didn't matter. That it was just a stranger. That this wasn't real. But by the second night, the silence felt louder than anything she had ever said. He typed. "Hey, everything okay?" No response. Another day passed. Then another. And just when he was about to accept that whatever this was over. His phone buzzed. "I'm sorry. I disappeared." He sat up instantly. What happened? There was a long pause before her reply came through. "Life happened." Maya stared at the screen, her heart racing. She hadn't meant to come back. She told herself she wouldn't. Because the truth was, she had gotten too close. Closer than she ever allowed anyone to get. And when something feels real, it becomes something you can lose. And she didn't know if she could handle losing this. But she missed him. And that scared her. More than anything. "I didn't think you'd reply," Ethan admitted. "I didn't think I would either." Silence. Then, "Can I ask you something?" He typed. "Yeah, what are we doing?" Maya's chest tightened. She had asked herself the same question 100 times. "I don't know," she replied honestly. "Me neither. But, I don't want it to stop." Her fingers hovered over the screen. Because neither did she. Weeks later, they finally crossed the line they had both been avoiding. "Let's meet," Ethan said. The message hung there. Heavy. Real. Terrifying. Maya stared at it, her reflection faintly visible in the screen. She wasn't who he thought she was. Not entirely. Because there was something she hadn't told him. Something that could change everything. "I can't," she replied. "Why?" She hesitated. Because the truth would end this. But a lie would only delay it. And so she chose the truth. Because the version of me you know, isn't the full story. Ethan read the message, confusion creeping in. What does that mean? Maya took a deep breath. It means, I didn't tell you everything. About my life. About who I am. He frowned. Okay, then tell me now. Another long pause. And then, I'm engaged. Everything stopped. Ethan stared at the screen, the words hitting harder than anything he expected. Engaged. To someone else. All those nights. All those conversations. All of it suddenly felt complicated. Since when? He asked. Since before I met you. Silence filled the space between them. The kind that doesn't just sit, it echoes. You should have told me, Ethan finally typed. I know. Why didn't you? Because I didn't expect you to matter, she thought. But she couldn't say that. Because I didn't expect this to happen. Ethan exhaled slowly, trying to process it. He wanted to be angry. Maybe he should have been. But all he felt was disappointed. Not in her. In the timing. Because somehow, out of everyone in the world, they found each other when they shouldn't have. What happens now? He asked. Maya's eyes filled with tears she didn't realize were there. I don't know. And that was the truth. Because for the first time in her life, she didn't know which version of herself was real. The one who stayed, or the one who wanted to leave. And that's when Ethan said something that changed everything. Meet me anyway. The story doesn't end there, it gets worse. Because when they finally meet, one of them doesn't show up. And the reason why, isn't what you think.